We're finally getting this done.
Democrats and Republicans crossed the aisle to pass a historic bill, what we'll see at the local level in the coming years. Bowling Green State University introduced a new addition to its campus this past week. A memorial now sits in the Carillon Park. And for 4 straight decades, one BGSU club team continues to dominate the MAC conference. These stories and more coming up next.
Live from the campus of Bowling Green State University.
Good evening. We start with a push by Pfizer to make their COVID booster shot available to any adult who wants one. CNN reports the Food and Drug Administration is considering the company's request to amend its emergency use authorization. One FDA director says the issue is its highest priority. A spokesperson for the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention says we'll meet Friday to discuss expanding booster eligibility. If the FDA greenlights the change, the next step would require the CDC director to sign off on the plan. But many adults are already eligible. Anyone over 65 or at high risk of infection or exposure can get a booster 6 months after their last shot. Some states and cities with COVID-19 cases on the rise have already opened up booster shots to vaccinated adults. A $1.2 trillion infrastructure package went into law earlier this week. The legislation aims to deliver $550 billion of new federal investments in America's infrastructure over 5 years. The bill signing ceremony was a moment of bipartisan unity with leaders from both sides of the aisle in attendance. CNN contributor Chris Wynn has more.
In Washington, D.C., a rare bipartisan moment Monday afternoon as President Joe Biden celebrates a major legislative win.
Today, we're finally getting this done.
The president signing the $1.2 trillion infrastructure bill into law, clearing the way for federal investments in communities throughout the nation.
My message to the American people is this: America's moving again, and your life is going to change for the better.
The package will deliver $550 billion in new federal money to upgrade America's aging infrastructure over the next 5 years. At its core, more funding for roads and bridges, as well as mass transit, rail, airports, ports, and waterways.
We have been waiting literally for decades for this kind of investment in infrastructure in this city.
The bill includes billions of dollars to improve access to high-speed internet and clean drinking water. It will also help with electric grid enhancements and climate resiliency projects, and allocates money to build a network of plug-in electric vehicle chargers across the country. Lawmakers on both sides of the political aisle coming together.
This bipartisan support for this bill comes because it makes sense for our constituents. But the approach from the center out should be the norm, not the exception.
The Biden administration says it will take time for Americans to notice the results of the bill's investments, but believes it will have a transformational impact down the road. In Washington, I'm Chris Wynn.
CNBC reports that almost $13 billion will go to Ohio from the infrastructure bill based on early White House estimates. The money will be used for public transportation, highways, and other public resources. Experts say it typically takes years to see results from projects like these in our own communities. And now let's toss over to Agatha for the weather. How's this weekend going to look for us, Agatha?
Thanks, Ethan. This morning we saw some unusually high temperatures in Bowling Green. However, that won't last long. The rest of this week is going to be cloudy and gloomy. Tonight we do have a high chance of rain. It's going to get to be about a quarter inch. Our high is 64 degrees and our low is 39, and our wind speeds will get up to around 20 miles an hour. However, tomorrow it's going to be mostly cloudy. You may get some rain in the morning. Our high is 40 degrees and our low is 30, and the winds are high as usual with our getting up to 17 miles an hour. This weekend, it's going to be a little bit sunny on Friday. However, the rest of this weekend is going to be very cloudy. On Saturday, our high is around 45 degrees, our low in the mid-30s. And then on Sunday, our high is going to get up to 50 degrees and our low is 36. That'll be all for this weekend's weather. Back to you, Ethan.
With the high today, I thought my swim trunks would get one more use, but looks like the cold's here to stay. Thanks, Agatha. Last week, we remembered and celebrated those who served in the armed forces. Bowling Green State University did something special for the holiday, and I had the opportunity to check it out.
Steve Myland, Marine Corps. James Zavaki, Navy. Paul Stram, Air Force.
112 names read aloud. Each name read is etched into the Veterans Memorial that now stands in the Carillon Park on Bowling Green State University's campus. The names are of all BGSU alumni and student service members who died while serving in the armed forces from World War I until now. The 5 pillars represent each branch of the U.S. military and those names who served within that branch. Members of the BGSU community gathered to unveil the memorial in celebration of Veterans Day and to remember those who made the ultimate sacrifice. Retired First Lieutenant and BGSU alum David Reitnauer helped develop the concept. He reviewed BGSU records and federal lists of POW and MIA personnel.
Because these are fellow alumni of Bowling Green. When you serve, there are certain things that you share a lifetime, and this is just another link, putting us closer together.
Current BGSU Army ROTC cadet Jewel Johnson shared her experiences in the Army with guests and what the day meant to her.
It was a humbling experience to be able to meet the veterans here and hear of their stories, their friends that they lost, their experiences in their military careers.
With the memorial standing right on campus, BGSU hopes that it brings awareness to all who pass it and to never forget those who served. For BG24 News, I'm Ethan Watts. Let's hope it does just that. We want to give a shout out to the men's rugby club team for BGSU. Over the weekend, the team defeated the University of Cincinnati and Western Michigan University to win the MAC championship. This is the team's 40th consecutive year as conference champions. For more on sports, let's pass it over to Steve. Steve, how'd the teams match up this past week?
Thank you, Ethan. Another week, another busy schedule for Falcon Athletics. We saw some seasons end and some begin. Last Wednesday, the BG football team lost to their arch rivals from the north, the Toledo Rockets, 49-17 in the Battle of I-75. The Rockets would score back-to-back touchdowns to take an early 14-0 lead. The Falcons would respond with 10 points to keep things close in the second quarter. But after a flurry of scores, the Rockets would take a commanding lead and eventually seal the win 49-17. The Falcons followed up with a 34-7 loss to the Miami Redhawks last night on the road. They'll be looking to close out the season on a high note when they host the Ohio Bobcats on the 27th. On Thursday, the men's soccer team traveled to DeKalb, Illinois for the MAC tournament semifinals and faced the number 1 seeded Northern Illinois Huskies. After a quiet 40 minutes, the Huskies would strike. 5 straight goals would prove too much for the Falcons. Despite goals from Zach Boucher and Jacob Erlandson, the team fell 5-2. The weekend would turn around for the Falcons, however, as on Sunday afternoon they clinched an at-large bid in the NCAA tournament. They are traveling down to Kentucky for the first round on Thursday against the Louisville Cardinals. Thursday night also brought fans to the season opener for the women's basketball team, as the Falcons defeated the East Tennessee State Buccaneers 90-58. On a night that the 2020 MAC regular season title banner was welcomed to the rafters, the offense would pick up right where they left off. Senior Katie Hempfling would pace the Falcons, finishing with 20 points, 6 rebounds, and 3 assists. Sophomore guard Nyla Hampton would contribute an efficient night, adding 15 points, 3 assists, and 5 steals. Coach Robin Freilich was pleased with the season opening performance.
It's the first time we've, where it's official, where the game lights are on and it all counts. So we're going to learn a lot. I loved our effort. I thought, we had 2 freshmen in the starting lineup, and I thought they did a great job.
Sunday, the Falcons would stumble, falling to IUPUI 71-60. Freshmen Zoe Miller and Amy Velasco would lead the Falcons with 15 points apiece, but the offense would struggle to find a consistent rhythm. They are back in action tonight in Columbus to take on the Ohio State Buckeyes. On Friday night, the women's soccer season came to an end as they fell to the University of Michigan 3-0 in the first round of the NCAA tournament. The Wolverines got on the board in the 17th minute with a goal from Meredith Hackinson. Later in the 59th minute, Nikki Hernandez would punch one in, and just 18 minutes later, the Wolverines would close out the game with a goal from Casey Lawrence. Despite the loss, senior Maddie Wolfbauer felt only pride for her team.
I'm so unbelievably honored to be Falcon these past 3 years, and this team just never gives up. But they're a phenomenal team. They will go far in the NCAA tournament. They're the 2nd seed, and sometimes the game just doesn't go your way.
The BG volleyball team split a weekend doubleheader on the road in Athens, sweeping the Ohio Bobcats on Friday and losing in 5 sets on Saturday. Friday's game would be close in all 3 sets, but would end with the Falcons prevailing. Senior Petra Androva would lead the Falcon offense with 19 kills and 11 digs, her 10th double-double on the season. Saturday's game was a match to remember, but the Bobcats would escape with a 3-2 win over the Falcons. Androva and Caitlin Meyer would each finish with 18 kills apiece, while Hannah Labe would add 3 aces. The Falcons are back in action tonight at the Stroh Center against the Miami Redhawks to finish up regular season play. And despite a great start to the regular season, the BG hockey team hit a speed bump this past weekend, getting swept in a doubleheader on the road against the 3rd-ranked Minnesota State Mavericks. The first game on Friday night would be a blowout, as the Falcons would fall 9-2. The Mavericks would overwhelm the Falcons in the first 2 periods, scoring 7 goals and making a comeback improbable. Cole Norris and Sam Craggs would each find the back of the net for the Falcons. Now, despite losing again on Saturday, the Falcons would prove tougher, only falling by a final of 5-3. Each goal from the Falcons would come during a power play, and the Falcons would not back down until late, when the Mavericks took a 2-goal lead late in the 3rd period. The Falcons are now 5-3-2 on the season and are looking to bounce back this weekend at home against the Lake Superior State Lakers. Finally, on Monday night, the Falcons would stumble, falling to the Ohio State Buckeyes at Value City Arena 89-58. The Buckeyes led with a stifling defense, and forward play from E.J. Liddell, Zed Key, and Kyle Young would prove too much for the Falcons to handle. Leading the Falcons in scoring would be Chandler Turner with 12 points and 11 points apiece from Samari Curtis and Joe Reese. The loss sent a clear message to head coach Michael Huger that the Falcons still have a lot of work to do.
That's the game right there. So those first 4 minutes, we got to be ready to play and compete from the start, and I don't think we were able to do that, and I thought Akron and Niagara were able to do that, and that's why they stayed in the game and gave themselves a chance to win the game at the end.
The Falcons are back home on Friday night, where they will host the Norfolk State Spartans. And that's all I have for you this week, Ethan. Talons up.
Talons up. Thanks, Steve. Well, as we get closer to the holiday season, Bowling Green will hold a community tree lighting ceremony this Friday. The event includes appearances from Julie's Dance Studio, Madrigals, and the Mayor. The holiday spirit will continue into the next morning with the BG Community Holiday Parade starting at 10 a.m. The parade theme this year is Elves on Main. WTOL 11 will broadcast the event live for those unable to attend. And as the semester comes to an end, students are looking for ways to get out of their dorms and have some fun. The University Activities Organization teamed up with Falcons After Dark to give students a stress-free night. Reporter Abby Grolmus went to see what all was happening at the event.
UAO holds entertaining events all semester. The most recent was a collaboration with Falcons After Dark called Stress Less with UAO. Located in the ballroom, the groups held several activities for BG students. The biggest hit, Stuff a Plush. Students lined up for their chance to stuff their own animal, complete with their own tiny teas. Student Madison Van Tatenoff speaks about what it means to them to have these activities.
It's fun. It's basically just like you get with your friends and like you get out of the dorm. I think that's a huge thing. It's just leaving the dorm or actually doing something but still staying within campus.
Dining services even supplied a mac and cheese bar complete with toppings. Students could eat and enjoy each other's company while doing crafts. The biggest goal of these events is to give students a sense of normalcy. UAO Vice President of Membership Mason Davis says he is happy to put on these events for students.
The point is really just to make sure that students are enjoying college. They have that opportunity to come here on Friday nights and interact with other students and really make those deep, meaningful connections and really just relax a little bit. You know, school can be stressful.
If you didn't make this event, there are more coming up. For BG24, I'm Abby Gormas.
The next event is bingo with prizes ranging from $100 to $200. Woo! Be sure to keep an eye out on Campus Update for more information. And that's all for this week's news. Thank you for joining us. For more news updates, follow us on social media at BG24 TV or go to bgfalconmedia.com. Enjoy your Thanksgiving break, Falcons. We'll see you soon.